love to share it, and I'll just share it very quickly with you. I heard it, I learned it originally in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, who was the first Hasidic master. And he said the following: a person who is unaware of their own weaknesses is like a carpenter who wants to build a table, and he doesn't recognize the weakest part of the wood. Maybe he'll build the weakest part of the wood into the leg of the table, and the table won't be viable. So it's not good. But the Baal Shem says, much worse than that is a person who doesn't recognize their own strengths. That's like that same carpenter who wants to build a table and doesn't even recognize his own tools. If you don't know your tools, what can you build? And as people, if we don't recognize our own tools, our own strengths, then what, in fact, can we build? I'm going to share a story. I lived many years ago with my family. I didn't always live in New York. I lived in Dallas, Texas. And my oldest child was in the 3rd grade. And they had a program at school called Challenge. And Challenge was a program for gifted children. The children were pulled out of class about 3 times a week. They were given a special t-shirt in a special room with special resources. And they were challenged to perform, to create. And this was supposed to be exciting, fun, a privilege. Imagine my surprise at the end of the year when my little 3rd grade son came to me and said, Ima, which means mommy in Hebrew, Ima, did I do good enough in school this year? So I said, yes, sweetheart, you did wonderfully. I'm so proud of you. She said, so do I have to go back to the remedial program next year? If we don't know that it's a strength, we can perceive something that's a strength as being a weakness. We won't use it properly. We won't enjoy it. And so that's a little bit what we're going to look for today. I would say that probably most of the people in the room, I don't like to generalize, it's not fair, usually not accurate. I would say that most of the people probably would agree to the assumption that as human beings, as people, we are some kind of a synthesis of a body and a soul. Certainly, if we go back to our sources, and everything that I talk about, I always make it source-based. That's our proof of authenticity. Always has to go back to the sources. Always has to be black on white. Always has to be verifiable. So if we go back to the sources, and we look at the narrative of the creation of human beings, so we see very clearly that there's 2 aspects of the creation. God takes dust from the earth, the elements, to form that first being that was the first human. And then he breathes into his nostrils nishmat chayim, a living soul. Not just life, but a soul that's alive. So, okay, so we're a body and soul. What's the relationship between those 2 things? What does it make a difference to me in my life? I have obligations. I have aspirations. I have ambitions. I have things I want to do. Where does this fit in? Why is it important to me? So, it would seem logical that if we are body and soul, that just as the body needs to be cared for, and we're so highly aware of that, and needs the proper nutrition and the proper environment in which to thrive, so it would seem logical that it's possible that the soul needs to be nurtured as well, and needs its food and its environment in order to be healthy and to be strong. I hope you all have the sheets in front of you. I'm going to, as we go, hope everybody has a sheet, refer to the handout. When I know who I am, and I know the relationship between body and soul, I know myself better, I know what my essence is, and I know what I have to bring to a relationship. Because in the end, we're going to talk about this in the second part, all we do really bring to a relationship is who we are in our essence. So number one on your sheet, who am I really? Am I a body with a soul, or a soul dressed in a body? So how do we usually think about ourselves, if we think about this at all? Do we think about ourselves, well, I'm me. I don't know what that me is. That's that me that is so much me that I can't really transfer it to anybody. I can't really describe it to anybody. Even the people that are closest to me in the world really don't know all the aspects of me that make me me. Who is that? What is that? Is it my body? And then my soul is just some aspect of me, my heart, my mind, some halo around my head like the Hallmark cards have? What is it? Or perhaps, am I in fact a soul that as long as my soul is living in this world of action, this world of doing, this world of becoming, perhaps I'm really a soul that's actually dressed in a body. Perhaps my body is just the garment for who I really am. We'll see. And we'll see what difference it makes how we perceive it. Let's go to number 2. I like to learn sources, so we're going to learn together a Mishnah. A Mishnah is part of the Talmud. The Talmud is made up of the Mishnah, which is the outline, and the Gemara, which is the discussion on the outline. And one of the tractates of the Mishnah is the one that's probably most familiar to people, and that's called, it has a name, it's called Ethics of the Fathers, and in fact, it deals with ethics. So this, in fact, is a very famous Mishnah from Ethics of the Fathers. Let's learn it together. Okay, I didn't bring the Hebrew. I'll say it for those of you who know the Hebrew, but I put the English on the sheet. Maybe you'll recognize it. In Hebrew, I just broke it's one sentence. I broke it down into 3 sections. That's the A, B, and C. So the first part of it is, Im ein ani li mili. If I am not for myself, then who will be? The second part is, Usha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani. But if I am only for myself, then ma'ani, what am I? And then the third part, which doesn't seem to go with part 1 and 2, says, V'lo achshav, and if not now, ematai. Then when? I want to share with you a very beautiful and meaningful and insightful explanation of this Mishnah. Im ein ani li mili. Im ein, if there is not, ani. Ani means I. If there is no I, if I do not know really who I am in my essence, in my essential self, then mili, who else is going to bother to get to know me on that level? I need, am unique. Therefore, I have a unique contribution to make. If I am not aware, like we said before, of my strengths and my tools, therefore, how will I build what I need to build? How will I create what I need to create? How will I become what I was put here to become? Who will take my place? No one. Because no one else can. And the second part of the Mishnah, Usha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani. But if I am but for myself, then ma'ani. Then what am